Hello and welcome to my bathroom. In this video I'm going to share with you how to shave with a double-edged safety razor. So for this videos we were asked to do something outside of 3D and I was thinking about it, and this is something that I would universally suggest to every 18, 19-year-old. Because you're gonna shave a lot in your life, and having the right techniques and the right tools will make a huge difference. So if you don't have a beard, then you might still shave your legs, but the safety razor won't make as much of a difference. So I started using a safety razor about 10 years ago, after I was disappointed in every shaving system that I tried. So I used machines from like Brown. I used one from Philips with three things. I used razors from Wilkinson, from Gillette Fusion, all that kind of stuff with 4 blades and swirling heads and all that kind of stuff. But it was always a disappointment basically. And with the machines, it's annoying. They work fine at the very start, but the blades dull relatively often soon. It doesn't go like hundreds of shaves without dulling. So then it starts to pull, and it's just it still works. So it's unpleasant, and it's also not that close, and you're not like smoothly shaven with a machine. And as soon as your hairs get long enough, like now it's just a few days and this still works, but as soon as they get a little bit longer, your hairs start to make a little curl, and then they don't get into the machine anymore, and then you have to use a trimmer, but the trimmer breaks down even faster. So yeah. And with the cartridge razors, so first of all, they are obviously very expensive. You have cheaper versions from other brands and so on, but they all have the same problem with all the little blades next to each other. They clog up extremely fast. They dull relatively fast as well. You have to buy the new ones or use a new one, and then oh yeah, this works good again. And but then it slows down and it gets worse. And so I was using that. I was like, oh, why does it have so many blades? Like, why don't they just make a system with just one blade so it can't clog up, and you just use one blade to shave? Like, you don't need more than one cut in your hair. That's pretty obvious to everybody, of course. And I thought, hold on, in the past I used to shave with that thing. And so I looked it up, and there was still a huge online community back then, and now you can still buy all these things in stores and online and so on. So you have safety razors like this. I'll show you how to use this. And okay, yeah, so I changed 10 years ago, never going back. This is my shaving tool for the rest of my life. And I think if you do the same thing, you'll also never go back to any other way of shaving. It's way cheaper, it's way more pleasant to shave with it. And yeah, and the shave is just better, but that's not super important for me, as I don't really mind having a bit of a beard. Yeah, all right. The other aspect is wet shaving. So that's using a soap or a cream like this and a brush like this, instead of the cans with foam. You can use this with a can of foam as well, and that's fine. That's less important, but I noticed recently the cans of foam, they're pretty expensive and they don't last that long. But yeah, so here I just use a bit of the Palmolive, that's super cheap, and just put some on, and then yeah, I'll do it, and I'll talk you through the process. And I watched some like tutorial videos, let's call it that way, and they were pretty disappointing. Like, they all missed some really important stuff, and they were talking about non-important stuff as well. I guess I do that as well, but okay. So this basically, you just use this. I just use it like this on my face, and then if you turn it off, the cream turns into a foam. And you have all kinds of soaps and stuff, cheap ones, expensive ones, difficult to find ones, all kinds of smells and so on. But yeah, it's pretty pleasant, it's pretty easy. Yeah, and that's it. So I have these like a cella, Italian almond things and so on. Proraso, it's also pretty nice. Also very easy to use, but yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. If you start using this, I suggest like use enough product, like get enough soap into the brush. And the brush, like, yeah, I just bought brushes in like a German store, like a Müller or something like that. But you can buy them here as well these days. All right, and so with this, there's one drawback to this, and this is that you need a little bit of skill for it compared to the other systems. The other systems, you just push it into your face and that's it, right? Or you just scrape it over your face and that's all you can do. You can't like put finesse into it or not much. And with this, you have to use it right. And when you use it right, the result is great. When you don't use it right, then maybe it's not so good. And I think that's the reason why those other systems were able to push this out of the market. Because if it's so much better and cheaper, how could they ever compete with this in, you know, the 50s, 60s, 70s, whenever they sort of like push this in out of the market? And it's the reason is skill issue. And so I asked older people after I started shaving with this, like, yeah, and why did you switch? I mean, you were old enough to be able to only have this option when you were small. And they were like, yeah, and I used to shave with this, and you had like all these cuts on your face, and then you used Allen block, which is a kind of like salt thingy to clean the cuts. And I was like, ooh, right. Like they had cuts. So you should never have cuts. Okay. I mean, yeah, maybe occasionally when you have a little pimple or something, you might have a small cut or something, but nothing that ever bothers you beyond the end of your shave or something. Like it's closed by the end of your shave. And you should certainly not have irritation. That's tip number one. Make sure you don't have irritation, but you have to practice a little bit, like maybe 10 or 20 shaves, because you get it before you get it just right. But you're gonna shave thousands of times for the rest of your life. So 10 or 20 shaves of practice is nothing. Yeah, okay, so just I sort of need a bit of a better mirror than my screen, but that should work. So I remember in the cinema, you had these advertisements from like Gillette or Wilkinson, where they make that like the stroke over their chin when their hair is gone. Like with this, it's actually like that. I never had that with the cartridge razors. Okay, then onto the technique, right? So this system basically holds a blade. I didn't show the blade yet. Let's show the blade as we're shaving. So it looks like this. You have two edges, you have these holes, and then you have pins, and different razors have like slightly different pins, but they all fit into all these blades. And then you have here those two ridges. Yeah, let's do it with my pinky. Those two ridges hold the blade against like this top cap. Okay, they hold it securely in place in this sort of angle. And then you have the ridge at the bottom, and I guess the top plate, and the blade just sticks out just a little bit, which means, yeah, compared to like the really old razors that are just like a long blade, you can use that as well, but that's a bit more hassle and you have to care for them, and so like this is very carefree. But with this, yeah, you can't really cut deeper than, you know, than this depth. But that does mean you have to use the right angle. If you're using this angle, or if you're using this angle, it's just the razor and not the blade cutting it. So you have to use the right angle, and there's no swirling head or anything, so you have to like go around your own face. But you're gonna know your face like extremely well. You're gonna make all these angles like almost automatically. So don't worry about that. I have to be, or at least I have to be very careful around my mouth, because skin, it's pretty sensitive there, and of course beard hair is quite strong. And then there's another technique. So I once asked my dad, yeah, use this. He did a terrible job, even though I explained it. What you have to do is that the razor, you hold it against your skin, of course, to cut through the hairs, but you have to resist pushing the razor into your skin. Now, if you've used cartridge razors, the head swirls a little bit like this, and you really have to push it on to your skin, and then the blade will automatically have the right angle as long as you keep pushing it in. If you do this with this, you're gonna have irritation. You shouldn't push like at all. And people say like, yeah, no pressure, just the weight of the razor. The problem is, if you say no pressure, is that you kind of don't grow through the hairs easily. So you should have a certain smooth movement going down, like along the skin. You should like just chop your hairs straight off along the skin, but not into the skin. And that process takes maybe 10 shaves before you get it really right. So the first 10 shaves, just concentrate on getting no irritation, just doing really soft. Don't worry about like how smooth your skin is. But after that, yeah, it will go automatically. So I don't have a lot of fat underneath my skin, underneath my chin. So what I do is I pull this skin over my chin bone, I guess, to have a smoother area where I can shave. Okay, the other thing is you should shave with the grain. So your hairs exit your skin at a bit of an angle, and so they go in a direction, and you should shave with that direction. Now, if you go against the grain, you can sort of get the blade underneath the hair a little bit and like pull it even closer, but you might also get irritations and so on, and it's just not worth it. But everybody's hair goes in their own way. Now your mustache and so on, and your hair here will probably go down and outwards, right? Like it will probably grow in this direction, right? I don't think people have mustaches growing upwards. So that will probably grow in this direction. This will probably grow in this and outwards. But at least like under the skin, you have to look where your hair grows. Yeah? So some people actually have hair that then grows in the other direction again. I have here, some hair grows more sideways, and here I have a bit of a swirl. But that's really just up to you. So that's just experience for you. Yeah, and so this is done, but you might still sort of find another area, and because it's fun, you might give it another go. So let's shave again, just because it's fun. But the second time, you have way less hair, so it'll go much faster as well. Sometimes people say, or the old rules was that you had to shave 3 times. Once with the grain, once across the grain, and once against the grain. But yeah, I don't care. And there's no shave police, so you can just do what you want. But here I do go in like a slightly different direction. Like especially here, you see also me making like some faces. Like I use my face muscles to pull my hair in a, or to pull my face in a specific direction. If you do this, for example, it pulls this hair sort of against your skull and your bones. Or maybe, yeah, I put some air behind my cheeks to make it easier. Those kind of things. But that's all just personal, and you can never, there's no one else who can give you a better shave than yourself, because you know every little inch of your own face. Like with hair cutters, barbers, when they cut this hair at the back of, I almost always have irritation because I use way too much pressure. And then you warn them, hey, don't use pressure. That's not how you use a razor. Yeah, I know. And then they still use way too much pressure. So, yeah, brutes. Seriously, never had a single one that did it right. But when I shave myself, it's always perfect. Because it's always the same face. And it's gonna be the same for you. You can shave like this for the rest of your life. So, and here I can go against the grain. Shaving up. This region for me is always a bit, let's say, more sensitive, so I'm extra careful there. Like if you put too much pressure there, I might get a bit of irritation. Like it's not something that lasts long, but just okay. So I can do it again and get even closer, but this is like the meme kind of thing where you do like, oh yeah, so smooth. Yeah, okay. If you're interested, then lots of online stuff is available, but there's also an online trap, and that's your like which razor and which blades you should get. So every razor is made slightly differently. I mean, every brand of razor is made slightly differently, and it's how the system works. And so if this plate here is down a little bit further down, then it opens the gap more. Or if this is like slightly different, it opens the gap more, or it closes the gap more, right? So how much blade exposure you have will determine like the aggressiveness of your razor. A more aggressive razor will be a bit more sensitive. A softer razor, or less aggressive, yeah, that's the other word, will protect the blade a little bit better, not better, more, and you'll sort of feel the blade less on your face. It will still give you a shave, but I think less aggressive razors are not beginner friendly actually, or if they are too non-aggressive, because they'll sort of entice you to push a little bit harder. While a more aggressive razor, you really feel the feedback of the blade, and you'll be able to like just really softly, because you really feel it, really softly go over your face and learn it. And this razor, I think, is like it's gold standard. It's like just in the middle, it's just right. But it's also what I'm used to the most. I use this razor most often, but I have some more razors, but you really only need one good one. So for example, here I have a razor in this little box that was made in 1922, so that's over 100 years old, and it looks like this. It's like the original Gillette thing where they use it in the First World War on soldiers instead of those bigger blades and so on. So with those bigger blades, the reason why I don't use that is because you need quite a bit of care for it, and the shave is also, it requires even more skill. That would be okay for me, like a bit of a challenge, but just the care and also the cost of the blade is way more. I also have, so this one is pretty aggressive, not because of the teeth, but just the way the two plates are formed when you put a blade in between that. So it's 100 years old, you can still use it perfectly fine. Could have used it now. But I wouldn't use the blades if they're 100 years old, but I also have my razor, the razor of my granddad that I never knew, and that's a very soft razor. So yeah, I'd rather have either this one, which is like a sweet spot, or a more aggressive one, personally. And then the blades, right? You can wait, where are they? Yeah, here are they. So the blades, you get all kinds of packages and so on. You can still find them in a lot of stores in Belgium, certainly other regions as well. There are a few manufacturers around the world that still make them, and they're still being used. But the prices vary quite a bit, and the quality and sort of sharpness also varies. But a version like this, like Astra here, they're made in St. Petersburg, last I knew. They're also like, first of all, they're very cheap, but they're really good. They're like not too sharp, not too blunt, and they're pretty sharp, always have very good results. And it's about 10 cents for one blade. I use a blade for about 10 plus shaves, between 10 and 20, I think. After 20 shaves, I think maybe, wow, I feel it's a little bit less sharp, and then yeah, I just throw it away and get a new one. Not throw it away, I actually never really even thrown away because they're so thin. I still have all my, I just put it in a box and I still have it's like this many blades or something after all these years. Okay, so what's the thing online is that people think every blade or every face has its own unique match with the blade, and you have like hundreds of different packages made in, let's say, 10 factories or something, but they're like all rebrands and so on, or maybe 20 factories, I don't know, I don't care. But that's like different kinds of petrol in your car. Okay, like it's not gonna make a lot of difference. Just get like a decent brand for a good price and just stick with that, right? Like when you're practicing driving a car, which, okay, some of you also might still have to do, yeah, you just need to practice more. It's not like, oh yeah, we'll use a new brand of gas and then I'll be a better driver. Like, no, it's the same with this. And I think why the myth is so widely spread and why almost everybody like, no, buy like you can even buy like these sort of sample packs where you get like a few blades of every brand and so on to try out which one fits your hair and your, like, that's bullshit. Everybody has coarse facial hair because beards are coarse hair. Everybody has sensitive skin because facial skin is sensitive. That's the case for everybody. And yeah, the blade doesn't matter that much. There are like some outliners, like you have a Japanese brand that's super sharp. Yeah, you sort of do feel it that it's sharper, but most sort of mid-range blades, they're all the same. But in your first 10 shaves, every shave might feel like way better than the last time because just your technique improved a lot. Or maybe sometimes it goes worse again, and then and then you get a better one again. So if you switch blades every shave in your first 10, you'll think, oh, that's a great brand, oh, that's a worse brand. But like now, after a few years of shaving, I could use any brand, trust me, any brand, even crappy brands. I can get a good shave out of it. I'll just kind of feel maybe that like the blade isn't as smooth or nice or something like that as possible from like really cheap, I don't know, throwaway blades from. But any sort of like decent mid-range blades will be perfect for me. Same thing with the razor, but the razor does, like every razor does have like a different shape, and that's like with different cars. Okay, the brand of petrol doesn't matter, but like how far you have to press the pedals does differ car by car. But if you can ride, then you can just jump in a new car and you just feel the feedback of that pedal, and then you press it a bit more or a little bit less than the car maybe that you're used to, but you kind of still just press as hard as you need to go a certain speed, even if that doesn't maybe match with the car that you're used to. Same thing with the actual razors. Yeah, so I would suggest, this is from the brand Merkur, or Merkur, it's a German brand. And I first bought this one because that's their cheapest model, and because I use it so often and it's so good, I bought the more fancy version. This was like 30 euros, this is like 50 euros. But yeah, that's the only, like, just buy this once and don't look back for the rest of your life. And then the wet shaving brushes doesn't really matter as well. You don't need to get an expensive brush, but some are like more, or they last longer or something like that. Like this is something that I bought again in some German store for a few euros, and I used this a lot, and then a long time ago, and then I got like this sort of with a clear handle. Like this is a bit fancier, still pretty cheap, I think 13 or 14 euros or something like that. And it's better, but I mean the soap is gonna be the same. And then with soaps, anything goes. Like you basically have the soft ones and the creams that either come in like a tube, or sometimes this is also a cream. This is still pretty soft. Or you have like the more hard soaps, like more pucks, and then you have to like press on it until it starts to like activate, and you get the soap on your brush. But yeah, this is my tip. If I knew this a few years earlier, then I would have saved a few years of bad shaves. And now I'll have nice shaves for the rest of my life, and maybe you do too. So if you're still watching and you don't have a beard, everything goes for leg hair and armpit hair as well. It's not as coarse, and the skin on legs is not as sensitive as the skin around your lips and so on. So it's just, same thing goes, it's just everything is a little bit easier and a little bit more forgiving. And I guess the price of this compared to a can, and also like how much more you get out of this, will make more difference, because you have more surface area on legs. But same thing goes. And then you also have the aftershave thing, which you don't really need, but you can use like a cool aftershave if you want, but it's not needed. But here, let's use some Proraso with menthol, so it's like cold and fresh. But that's also not entirely not required. Doesn't make a difference. Just all right. Thank you for watching. Sorry for making such a long video. If you're still watching, then thank you, and have nice shaves. See you.